Good morning, guys. Okay, so we are, as always, going to look at the first trade of the week. I'm actually going to do two trades today because I'm kind of going to go over something a little bit different. As always, we're going to do the sort of analysis behind the trades, and then I'll kind of talk you through the trade management. So this week, I kind of scalped on two trades, so looking for relatively small movements, relatively fast in and out of the markets. Now, just before we go into the trades, I just want to say that when it comes to scalping, personally, when I first came to trading, and almost everybody, I would say, when they first come to trading, they're kind of drawn to scalping because it's seen as fast money. What I found was when I was learning, it was instead lots and lots of losses. It's a lot kind of higher stress. You have to be kind of a lot more on the ball. Tiny kind of seconds of delay, especially if the trade's not kind of going to plan, can really cause you a lot of losses. So I don't really suggest you do it until you consider yourself a fairly experienced trader. But having said that, I do love trading and love scalping. And the reason behind it is because sometimes when I come into the market, I might not have an overly significant view of kind of what's going to happen. But intraday, the market is giving me a lot of kind of clues for a certain position. So when I get into a position like that, when I start to see the kind of hesitation, I'm kind of in and I'm out and I'm looking for scalping movements. I'm looking for shorter profits rather than kind of getting into lots of trades, jumping up and ending up coming back and taking me out of break even, which I find really frustrating. Or even worse, you get into a trade, you try and hold it for an extended profit target and it ends up coming back and stopping you out. So if I don't have that solid analysis, I'm much more likely to scalp. So first trades from Monday was on the FTSE. Now into the start of the day, yeah, very, very big bullish movement into the resistance zone that I had marked up. Now with this one, it's really simple. Yeah, we got a pin bar. The pin bar was into a level of resistance. To the left of the trade, you can kind of see the gap, the weekend gap. So the market had gapped down over the weekend, it hadn't closed, and then the market had rocketed up, closed the gap, and instantly rejected. So I was looking at it as though even if we don't see a huge sell-off here, it is likely going to be an area for the sellers to step in and also for profit taking from that big bullish movement. And then as the market starts to drop down, I'm kind of watching it, and you notice it starts to kind of hesitate around about the £200 mark. So as it's doing that, I'm kind of watching it. If it breaks through cleanly and it just keeps going, then I tend to hold on to the trade, and the scalping trade ends up becoming kind of larger profit. But when I start to see that hesitation, if it starts to do it a couple of times and it holds at that level, I just come out of the trade, and that's exactly what I did on this one for £200 of profit. Now, after that, we were on the DAX. Now, this market was kind of lining up at the same time as the FTSE. So the FTSE was lining up with a bit of a sloping support level, and the DAX was also lining up with a not only a sloping support, but there was kind of a double bottom. So again, what I was looking at with this one is, okay, so intraday, it's looking like a very good setup. I'm happy to get into it. It's looking bullish. The entry candle that I'm looking at is kind of closing above the MA2. It's got a high above the MA200. And also, I'm looking left and I'm thinking, where really is the next resistance? If we start to break up, where's kind of a good area? Where's a good swing point? Or where's an important level? Where's somewhere where the sellers would likely step in or the buyers would jump out of the trade? And it's a fairly long way until we start to find that. So again, I was happy to get into the trade, but again, I was being more cautious. I was kind of looking at it as though it was a scalping move. Now with this one, we break up relatively quickly. So I'm into the trade, the market rockets up in your direction. It's exactly what you want to see. It happens a lot more on the DAX, I would say, than the FTSE. And as it's kind of coming up, again, I'm watching that hesitation. And you're noticing it's rejecting off of £300 a couple of times, and it's kind of dropping back down to 200, and it's ramping back up again, and it's kind of hitting into the 300, and we're starting to find a little bit of resistance. So when it's doing that, I'm taking this as a scalping trade. I'm out. I just close the trade and I take the profit. And then my kind of approach is, if I earn more than £300 in a day, doesn't matter if that comes from one trade or two trades, then I finish. So I'm not looking for £300, but if I get above £300, so if I get one trade that's £350 profit, I'll just stop for the day. If I get one trade that's £800 profit, I'll stop for the day. If I get one trade that's 200 and then like this one 300, I'm above the £300 profit, so I just stop for the day. There's no kind of trading reason for that. It's kind of more to do with me. One of the reasons I love trading is the freedom that it gives me. So if I can get there, if I can get finished for the day, I absolutely love it. So with this one, got the £200 with the first scalp, £300 with the second scalp, and I was finished. So two relatively simple setups. As you're kind of trading, the more you do it, I would say, if you're a day trader especially, if you're looking at the markets a lot, it's not so much, I would say, for kind of higher time frame traders, because although they're still looking at the market a lot, they're not sitting day to day and watching the charts. As a day trader, you're watching it so much that it's kind of like you start to see the matrix. As ridiculous as that sounds, you can start to see how a market moves. You start to learn the kind of personality of the market. You learn the structure. You learn very likely movements. When you start to see this, you will start to notice that a lot of the time, kind of scalping can make sense. But as I've mentioned, it is much higher stress. It leaves a lot less room for mistakes, and it's very easy to kind of spiral into emotional trading if you try and scalp and you find it doesn't work out. So wait until you're a little bit more experienced, demo trade, learn how to do it. And I only use it, as I mentioned, when I don't have that kind of clear analysis on the markets. Okay, guys, so that's everything for this week. As always, hopefully that was helpful. Ended up the day around about £500, which was really nice. And then I just called it a day. Okay, so I hope you are all having a great trading week, a great October we are into already. I'm James Orr, and thank you.